What's up guys, welcome back. TCG Metagame update for early February, end of January, new TCG format. Well, new, it has been a couple of weeks, but let's dig right into it, right? I'll try to leave all the sources in the video description. So again, like always, if I forget any of the original sources, please feel free to, correct me in the comment section, but I feel the format is establishing itself. A second weekend, I guess. Here there is like no pie chart, but I'll be using like a tier list, except it's not really a tier list as you see here, since again there are a lot of decks missing, and I only have 3 categories, one being, like the deck to beat, I guess, being spirals, followed by a lower quote-unquote tier, but I feel that like the 3 decks here, Altergeist, Salmon Grades, and then Luna Light hybrids with or without Magician's Souls and or the Time Thief hybrid, more lists, soon here in the video, are the decks that can like follow up with spirals but maybe fall a bit short. And then the third category, pretty much like the other decks, dinos, heroes, etc, etc. Again, the list is not set. I mean, you can definitely add more decks to this particular list, or yeah, a tier list, but lists, I mean, I based myself on the list that I was able to find online. So let's go, let's dig right into it. I feel that Spirals is pretty much the deck to beat. Again, this is not, well, like based on regionals and or locals from past weekends, and I feel that we will be having our YCS really soon. I believe 2 weekends, end of February, there's YCS Utrecht here in Europe, and I believe also one in the States, if I'm not mistaken, in the same weekend. They're Las Vegas, right? But again, correct me if I'm wrong. But again, I feel that Spirals is still the deck to beat. No changes really to PBG, or at least the metagame breakdown from last week, and 2 spiral lists already. But again, very similar to each other, as you see here, heavily focused on Magician's Souls, of course. It's both lists are opting to run the Tri-Gate part of the deck, and not the extravagance way, and again, yeah, none of them are main decking or using the scrap route. I personally prefer the scrap route, but again, you might need to main deck those bricks, so that's probably the reason why the scrap version might be the inferior of the 3 versions we discussed last week, right? One list being the more expensive one, being the triple Appaloosa, triple extravagance. I feel might be the better one out of the 3, but yeah, at the same time, it's the most expensive one again, and with the YCS weekend coming up within the next couple of weeks, that might change, right? People might prefer that particular list. Second here, we have Altergeist. Altergeist is definitely also, I kind of prefer Spirals a little bit over Altergeist, but it's definitely a deck you can't ignore, seeing that it's super anti-meta, and now it's like really the first time in like a long time that I feel that Altergeist will get a couple of spots in the YCS, because, well, like previously Altergeists were like maybe 1 spot in a YCS top 32 cutoff, and mostly bubbling out, not making the top 32 cutoff. But now I feel YCS weekend, I feel that Altergeist definitely has a shot to get in a couple of players, but yeah, it's Altergeist, right? The second list here, by the way, is from Simon He, main decking the evenly matched, so that's, I guess, like a difference between the first list we saw just now. And Simon also preferred main decking the DD Crows, right? Side decking Troll Unlock as well. Then the third off, we have Luna Light. So Luna Lights and or with a Time Thief, with or without the Magician's Souls engine. As you know, it's quite expensive, so people, well, who don't want to spend a lot of money on Magician's Souls might opt to run the Time Thief. Although this first list is running both. I couldn't find the space in my Time Thief Luna Light list from a couple of days ago, but I guess it works out. Magician's Souls definitely as an option here could work out in Luna Light because of, their trap and spell being graveyard effects or containing graveyard effects as well. The second list not running the Time Thief but opting to run the small PK engine since, well, yeah, you know, like that the rank up spell during the opponent's turn into Caliuga basically works very similar to as a thought, blocking your or preventing your opponent from playing the game, and then during your own turn gain control over your opponent and yeah, just trample them, I guess, during your second turn. But not really sure if the PK engine is really opted or picked, should be picked like a YCS 12 round tournament. People might prefer just going for the flat out, you know, Magician Souls option. Then again, there is still the Time Thief option, as you see here. Top 8 from Marco Pastori, if I hope I pronounce it right. But it's yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe again going for like YCS route, the Magician Souls option might be a bit more preferred other than the Time Thief option. But yeah, that's how it is, right? The new Time Thief Exceed also released recently in our TCG Metagame. So Luna Lights. Next up, we also have Salamangreats, and Salamangreats, I believe, is currently the surprise of the metagame. The TCG metagame, that is. I mean, a lot of people counted out Salamangreats because they lost Mirage Stelio, but the deck is definitely recovering from that. 2 options, 2 builds ready here. The first one ended up top 4 in the regionals in Liège in Belgium, right, as we know from the Dutch players. But interesting run main decking the triple Tron and Lockbird, and that's what we are seeing, people preferring main decking those outs against heavy combo oriented decks like, for example, Spirals, and it's still a very consistent deck, right? The second list was uploaded on Team Sam's channel. It's opting to run the Horse Prince, the Synchro, level 6 Synchro in the extra deck with, of course, Red Resonator. Personally, I wasn't a huge fan of that, but, well, it has its well, yeah, Horse Prince has its options, of course, in the main deck, but yeah, only running double Jack Jaguar. I've seen builds from past week running triple Jack Jaguar, but both these lists only running to opting, you know, like to run 2 copies of Jack Jaguar in the main deck. So a lot of other lists, Zodiacs first of all, the top 8 list that I've used in my previous video, like 18 hand traps in the main deck, heavily focused on getting out that Mega Klops, like a Towers-alike monster using up 3 Exceeds on your side of the field. You can easily get to it with Barrage and or Tanky. Well, both of them, a 2-card combo leads to 3 Exceeds on the field. I have a video up on that, so feel free to check it out, but interesting one, right? Next up, next to, you know, like Zodiacs, we have like a second place Danger build. It's still okay, the Grand Maiju build. Not really sure if it's good enough in, let's say, like a 12 to 13 round YCS, but don't ignore the deck. Gizmek is still strong, you know, like super anti with the polys, the Eat of Millions as well. Madolches is cool. They'll be getting more support in our next set, right, within the next couple of months, and into the new Master Rule 2020. The deck will just get better, even though it won't change that much, the opening turn play, that is. But you know, you're not forcing yourself to go for those link plays first. And yeah, you know, like the new support is bonkers for Madolche. Them getting a trap and the continuous spell that gives them an extra summon, and the search as well will definitely give Madolche a huge boost. Subterrors, I feel the same goal as Altergeist, but I feel that Altergeist just has more representation compared to Subterrors, but again, don't count them out. But I feel that going into like a YCS, Altergeist might give you more chances of topping, yeah, other than Subterror, or at least compared to Subterrors, that is. But hey, it's still Subterrors, right? Orcust, I feel is the loser of the format, right? I mean, they got they only lost like 1 card on the ban list, but it proves that it's a huge hit for Orcust. They need Girsu, so yeah, we just have to wait on that, right? True Dracos, the deck is not dead, the deck is still super anti-meta oriented, and even with Card Demise at 1, you can't count out the deck. It's border control, right, with the Monarchs Erupt, and there can only be 1 in the main deck. So definitely don't count out this deck if you're attending like a YCS. Burning Abyss, I feel, is underperforming. This is a block dragon variant, I believe, ending up top 8 in a tournament. But yeah, it's okay. Tour guide at 2. The deck definitely has options, and I feel that the deck can definitely do a lot in a YCS-alike tournament. But you know, it needs a good pilot, right? Next up we have Paleos, a Paleo list. I believe this one got first place, if I'm not mistaken, indeed, Australia Regionals. It's okay, I guess. I mean, it's Paleos. Nothing I can say about that. Side-decking the borders is of course quite interesting. 45 cards in the main deck, but yeah, interesting one, Paleos. I will be having a Marine Says one within the next couple of moments. Mech Knight Invoked. The deck will just get better into the new Master Rule 2020. But currently, yeah, going second, I guess, with the Mind Controls, the Instant Fusions, and of course the evenly matched in the main deck as well. The Kaijus, of course, yeah, the Mech Knight Engine. Interesting one, but I don't feel the deck will be that consistent or consistent enough to pull through. And then again, I'm just keeping that YCS tournament in the back of my mind. Heroes is also a deck that, you know, got like a lot of like votes, I guess, that the deck will just be one of those top tier decks going into the new format, especially with Sunriser hitting the TCG metagame as well. But it's falling a bit short, even though Dark is still a very strong card. Again, don't count this out. Don't count this deck out just yet. We'll see if this deck will do anything at the YCS level within the next couple of weeks. Thunders, to my surprise, but yeah, just the fact that they lost Colossus, I feel, is just too big for Thunders to recover. Who knows, they might get back one Colossus if we are going into the new Master Rule 2020. Dinosaurs as well, you know, okay, they lost like the diagram, even though this particular build is not running the diagram engine. I kind of agree, you're kind of forcing yourself to main deck those dead cards, like potential bricks, like more True Kings, like the Earth True King. It's just more than enough. And again, the deck is getting more support in the near future with the Jewel Beast, which is basically like a diagram in monster form, right? So interesting to see how deck, or at least how that deck is going to perform in the new 2020 format. Last but not least, we have Marine Says. Interesting one, also the new support, what is it called, the Pascal? Marine Says Pascal. It gives you the extra summon, I believe, from the hand, and can get back like a what is it called, Marine Says spell or trap from your graveyard, if I'm not mistaken. But okay, it's still Marine Says, and it's still heavily focused on the field spell, and of course your Crystal Heart combo, you know, your Link 4 as well. And that's still, I feel, the big weakness of the deck at the same time. So a lot of lists, but again, all the original sources, all the sources will be in the video description. And again, like always, guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.